All right, now let's look at the example of calculating the sum of the series. Okay, so what is important is to understand now. Determine the solution of the terms of the series. Now we are still looking at the arithmetic. Let's use the red one as well. Now we are looking at the arithmetic series. Okay, and what do we remember from the arithmetic series? We know that Sn is equal to n divided by 2 multiplied by 2a plus n minus 1 multiplied by d. Okay, and also if we are given the last term, that will be Sn is equal to n divided by 2 multiplied by a plus L, which is your last term. So these are the two equations which we will use always when we want to calculate the sum of the terms, to calculate the sum of the n terms in a specific sequence or in a specific series, to be specific. So now we are now given this first part, which is a. On A, they are saying that, okay, determine the solution of the first terms of the series, which means now they are giving us this series which we are having there. So A, we are given negative 15 minus 9 minus 3 plus 3 plus and up to 20 terms. So we can see that in this series which we have, we're not given the last term. So since we don't know the last term, this is already making our lives easy because we know that we can't use this equation. So now we choose the equation which we are using. So our equation which we use is Sn is equal to n divided by 2 multiplied by 2a plus n minus 1 multiplied by d. Okay, now we know, now we need to select what is our n value. Our n value is going to be up to 20 terms. So we need the sum of the 20 terms. What is our a? Our a is always the first term, and our a is going to be equal to negative 15 because a is always the first term of that specific series. Okay, and what is our d? Our d is the common difference, which is always t2 minus t1. So this will be negative 9 minus 15, and that will give us, with our calculator, negative 9 minus 15, then that will give us positive 6, which means our d, our constant difference, is going to be 6. So now we have the value of a, we have the value of d, we have the value of n. Now we can calculate the sum of the 20 terms, which will be equal to 20 divided by 2 multiplied by 2 times our a value is given as negative 15, of course, plus, again, on the position of n, we replace with 20 minus 1 multiplied by our d, and this instance our d is the common difference, which is 6. Then after that we can use our calculator. Again, make sure that you have a Casio calculator, because that's the only calculator which will give you proper answers always, as I always advise. Okay, then of course our S number 20 here, I'm getting my answer to be 840. Okay, this is easy. Why is it easy? Because now we were able to calculate it fast. The first thing which is important is to understand, is it given, are we given the n value? If we're not given the n value, which means that we can use this equation and we are able to use this second equation because we don't know the last term. Now let's look at our B part of the equation. Now on the B part, they're saying that, okay, now we are given 4 plus 11, and we are also given the last term, which means we need to use that equation of the last term. Sn is equal to n over 2 multiplied by a plus the last term. Or you can even use this one as well. This one can also work as well, but this one is going to be a bit long because now we are given the last term, but we don't know how many terms are in that specific sequence, so that we can find the n value. So in order for us to make our lives easier, we need to be able to calculate the last term of the sequence, or the total number which are available in that sequence. So we are given number 2 now, which is 4 plus 11 plus 18 plus 25 plus, then we can also given plus the last term, which is 368. So the first term is to determine our Tn, which is the general term. So Tn is always equal to a plus n minus 1 multiplied by d. What is our n? Our a is the first term of the sequence, which is a plus n minus 1. What is our d? Our d is the common difference, and the common difference d is always equal to t2 minus t1. So that will be 11 minus 4 there, then you get 7. Then this will end up having your equation to be 4 plus 7 times n, that's 7n minus 7, which is just the same as 7n minus 3. So our general term will be 7n minus 3. Now that we have our Tn to be 7n minus 3, now we need to calculate what will be our last term. Or we want to calculate the total number of the terms which are in that specific series, since we are given the last term. So now that will be easy because 368 is equal to 7n minus 3. Now we calculate the value of n. So that will be 368 plus 3. Then that will give you, let's calculate 368 plus 3. Then that's giving me 371, which is equal to 7n. You divide both sides by 7, divide both sides by 7, 7, 7. Then your n value is going to be equal to 53. Now that we have the end value, now we can now calculate the sum of the terms. We know that we are given the last term, so that can be calculated easily. That would be Sn is equal to your n over 2 multiplied by a plus l. What is your n? Our Sn, we have calculated it to be 53. So we calculate the sum of the 53 terms. Then that would be equal to 53 divided by 2 multiplied by our a. Our a is the first term. In this instance is 4. Our last term is 368. Then after that, we use our operators to get the correct answer. And after that, boom, you are happy. If I am also happy. So that would be 53 over 2. Then using our calculator there, I'm getting 9,858. Then you get your sum of the terms. So if you don't know the end value, which means you need to calculate the end value first so that you can be able to do the proper calculations. So that's one of the examples which we have. Now let's just speed up these two questions which I also created just to make sure that everyone can be good. So the moment they say that sum to the 40 terms, which means you're already given the end value. So on number 8 there, we know that Sn is equal to n divided by 2 multiplied by 2a plus n minus 1 times d. Again, this is easy because now we know that we are calculating the sum of the first 40 terms, which means our n is going to be S40, which is 40 divided by 2 multiplied by 2, and our a is the first term of the sequence. In this instance is 2, plus our n, which is given as 40 minus 1, and our common difference is always the t2 minus t1, and in this instance it's 8. Then after that we use our operators, our calculators, and get the sum of the 40 terms. Now let's do number 2 first. We know that determine the sum of the series. Now in this instance we are given the last term. Okay guys, I apologize, this was supposed to be, let me see, let me think. This was not supposed to be like this. I think it was just a problem when I was typing it up. The question number 2, yes, it was supposed to be 11 plus 8 plus 5 plus 2 plus until we reach negative 166. So again, this is the equation, this is the proper series which I wanted us to play around with. So again, the same thing goes. We know that we are given the last term. Since we are given the last term, which means now we need to first look at our Tn, which is equal to a plus n minus 1 times d. Then after that, our a value is given as the first term, which is 11 plus n minus 1, and our d is 8 minus 3. Then that will be negative 3. Then we will have our 14 minus 3n to be our general term. But we know that the last term is given as negative 166, so that would be negative, our Tn is given as 14 minus, let me just say, negative 3n plus 14, and our last term is negative 166. Then now we can now calculate the value of n so that we know how many values are we supposed to calculate there. The negative 66 minus 14, negative 166 minus 14, and that will give us our answer to be negative 180, then equal to negative 3, and divided by negative 3 divided by negative 3, then our n value there will be equal to 60. Now that we know that the total sum, or we need to calculate the sum of the 60 terms, and we know that we are given the last term, so we can also use the equation Sn is equal to n over 2 multiplied by a plus the last term over there. So the sum of the 60 terms will be 60 divided by 2, and our first term was 11 plus the last term, which was negative 166. Put in the bracket so that you can see the proper answer. Then after that, you can use your calculator to get the proper answer. So please type out your answer in the comment section so that we see that you did the proper calculations.